It's preseason, baby. The Celtics take on the Memphis Grizzlies on Wednesday. Game one. We're finally going to get to see what this team looks like in practice. We're going to get to see what Joe Mazzulla has been doing with these guys and how differently they play compared to what we've become used to over the last few years. Lots of new faces, lots of fun little tidbits coming out of training camp. Some interesting comments about Anthony Simon's defense, the pace that the team are looking to play at, and the overall physicality. We all saw that picture of Peyton Pritchard with the cut on his neck. Looks like someone had just dug their nails in and ripped a piece of his neck out. That's how physical it's been. It's going to be a war. I'm really excited for how this is going to look. I've brought in my homie, compadre, co-host in crime, Mr. Billy Calabrese, to help us kind of work through the big picture questions going on. Billy, Memphis Grizzlies, preseason game one. How we feeling?
I mean, this is Christmas Eve, man. This is the most excited I've been for a preseason game probably in a decade. We really don't know what the heck we're going to get tomorrow. Is it going to be a lump of coal? Is it going to be a shiny new bike? Is it going to be something that we just didn't expect? Or is it going to be a disaster? Like, there's so many questions. What is this new offense going to look like? What are the rotations going to be? What the heck's going to the starting five? I mean, what is going on?
It's going to be so many lessons to learn in terms of defensive coverages, the new offensive system, what X's and O's they run and how they're different. If you look at the way the Celtics played when they were a 3-point heavy offense, they really lent into Spain actions quite often as decoys more than being rather than just running a Spain action to generate an easy free, which they did. They also ran them as decoys. I'm really interested to see what type of decoys they're going to run now that I'm assuming they're going to be more of a rim pressure team, a mid range team, a little bit more balance in the offense. We've got questions over who's going to stand up, like who's going to shine out of these young guys, who's going to falter, who's going to struggle. There's questions over Hugo Gonzalez, Nehemias Quater, Jordan Walsh. A lot of guys are coming into this season with a lot to lose. And I think that coupled with the changing system, the changing style, coupled with what we've heard all the way through the off season, not sorry, the training camp period over the last week or so about the pace that they're trying to play at, the physicality of these sessions. We've heard Sam Cassell say it's been one of the toughest training camps he's been a part of. Jaylen Brown's echoed that. Peyton Pritchard said it's been a war. So many questions that we're going to get to start to finally see little bits of those answers. And look, this is preseason. Guys are going to look shit. Some other guys are going to look great. It's not going to be translatable in a bigger sense to the regular season as everybody starts to find their level. But man, I'm just happy basketball's back.
Oh man, it's so exciting to have it back. And a lot of times, like when you implement a new system, it takes like 15 to 20 games for the players to even adjust to it. So it could look really ugly for a while, but I'm just excited to see what the heck it's going to be. Because are we going to be running double big? Because they've been playing Boucher at the four in a lot of these training camp scrimmages. So that tells me that he's not going to be backup five. He's probably going to be the starting four.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a quote from Josh Minott yesterday, so Monday, saying that they've been working out with a low man quite a lot on offense and on defense, where you've got like a big in the help side ready to rotate over and offer some weak side defense, very much like the Rob Williams Roma role. And I'm assuming that's going to be near me, but I think that there's enough guys on that team with size and length that it could be Minot, it could be Boucher, it could even be someone like Hugo Gonzalez, depending on who's on the floor. But double big definitely is a possibility, especially because the two guys that you could likely run at the four in Boucher and Tillman, and then if you want to slide Hauser up there as well, all three of them can offer some floor spacing at the four spot, and that's going to be essential, especially if you're trying to be a high rim frequency team, or if you're trying to be a team that just gets them jets on early and kicks out to shooters. Having a forward that can come off a pin down and just be open early, that's going to be huge for the way this team are trying to play. If you've made it this far, you're 4 minutes and 30 seconds into the video. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, join the Celtics Chronicle community. We're going to be super active during the season. Also, head over to the CelticsChronicle.com, sign up to the newsletter for free, and start getting some updates every day straight to your email inbox. Billy, I'm
Yes.
looking at Nemi, right? And I'm looking at Luca Garza, and then I'm looking at who could play the four. And double big actually makes a lot of sense. I've never been a double big fan in terms of like the way the Celtics played up to this point under Mazzulla. They like to make quick decisions. They like the versatility at every position on the floor. And when Kristaps Porzingis came in, that was fine because you could have that versatility at the five because of what KP gave you. Now that you're going to have Nimi there and his shot profile is poor across the board, everyone seems a little bit hyped off what they saw in the Euro Cup, which is fair. But the fact of the matter is he was in the 55th percentile among bigs at the rim last season. So when you're running a double big, if you do that with Nimi, you definitely need shooting at that four spot. And I think that that's going to be the biggest key. Now, if Luka Garza's on the floor, maybe you don't need that second big because Garza can stretch to five and maybe you go a little bit more athletic, a little bit more attack off the rip, attack off the catch, stampede cut kind of actions to pressure the rim and open up opportunities for other guys on the catch.
So there's like two big reasons that I think we're going to go double big, ironically. One is if we do want to run, we're going to have to rebound, and we have all piss poor rebounders. We don't have any great rebounders, so we're going to have to do it as a team. And the only way we're going to be able to do it as a team is with size. So throwing the double bigs out there is going to help with that. And then also Jalen, Sam, etc. They can't guard fours. They're both very good defenders, good to great defenders, depending on how you want to judge them, but they're both terrible against fours. So it's not like Tatum where you could put Tatum on a cat for some time, or you could put Tatum on some of the other better power forwards around the league. You can't do that with Jalen or Sam. So it has to be a big playing that four spot.
That's a really fair point. The only other way I'll kind of envision that going is playing more of a funnel system where you try and, if there's a position that you're weak with, you try and funnel them towards the middle of the floor where you can pinch on them, you can collapse on them, bring Nemi a bit higher up, kind of suffocate the four and force the ball back out of their hands. We saw the Heat do this a bunch in recent years where they've been weak at certain positions. So they'll play a little bit of a higher pickup point and they will funnel the ball towards the free throw line extended. And then they'll have guys pinch in and take away that space. So they kind of force their weakest area to become one of their strengths because they deny the ball so much. They'll allow you to get the ball on the catch, but they'll deny the action that follows. I think that that's a way the Celtics could go, whether they go zone, whether they play like a hybrid of switch everything into a zone, which we saw them do a little bit last year, or whether they just genuinely try and match up man for man. If it's man for man, then I'm hoping they have like a funnel system in place to force fours, maybe force guards as well, depending on who's on the floor, to really drive that ball and run into gap help, run into guys pinching, and just make life tough that way. Sometimes you need to invite the pressure before you kind of swarm and take it away. The downside is when you're committing that many bodies and the ball gets kicked out, it's a scramble back out. So there's going to be ways that I think Mazzulla tries to solve that problem. But I do think that every time you try and solve a problem, you create another one along with it, right? Like if we collapse on this guy, now there's an open shooter. Now we need to kind of figure out how we're going to collapse, but keep pressure on the passing lane to make that tough. So it's going to be a bit of cat and mouse to begin with, a little bit of a chess battle there. We're going to see some ugly defensive possessions. But you are right. I think that Chris Boucher is probably a lock for your starting four just because of what he gives you defensively with that size and length as well. And he's quite mobile, which should help in terms of staying in front of guys. Maybe you don't need to funnel as much. He's going to give you a bit. And I think Tillman can do that. It's just Tillman's lack of size is always a concern.
Yeah, and his health. I mean, he's just never been able to stay on the court. I am optimistic. He's lost like 15 pounds. He really does look like he's in the best shape of his career. But it's Xavier Tillman. Like, how many times are we going to be Charlie Brown with the football and just get fooled by this? It hasn't worked ever. Didn't work in Memphis. It hasn't worked the first couple years in Boston. The one thing with the double big, it's going to be so important because essentially our biggest competitors are all basically doing some version of a double big, whether it's the Cavs with Mobley and Allen, whether it's the Bucks with Giannis and Miles Turner, and it's like the Knicks with Mitchell Robinson and Cat. These are huge teams that we're going to be playing a lot, and they're really our main competition if we're going to be even somewhat competitive, even though people say the East is weaker. I think the East is huge. I think all the good bigs are in the East.
The The issue with all three of those teams that you've just mentioned goes back to what I said about running double big earlier, is you want versatility at the 5. If you're going to make it work, then Evan Mobley can stretch the floor. He can put the ball on the floor. He's a 3-level scorer. He can rebound. He can defend. Cat, not as much as a defender, but he's passable, can rebound, can put the ball on the floor, can stretch out, 3-level scorer. Who was the other guy you mentioned? Miles Turner, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Can defend, can rebound, can shoot from 3, can shoot, be a rim threat. There's versatility in what they bring. And those type of bigs are in scarce supply. There's not many of them. So I think that if the Celtics are going to run double big, they're going to have to do it with the versatility coming at the 4 spot, because it's not going to be there at the 5 this year. Unless Luka Garza suddenly just pops.
Maybe he can shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the dude can shoot. He can rebound. His defense is concerning. He's not exactly the best defender, but he can score. He can score on the post. He can score in the mid range. Can score around the rim. Can board up. I think that then you can probably be like, but he's never going to be in the category of a Mobley, of a Towns, and he doesn't need to be right now. But what I'm getting at long term is, and I wrote about this yesterday in the Celtics Chronicle, was this feels like a team that's being built in Joe Mazzulla's image. And what I mean by that is Mazzulla inherited the last team from Ime Udoka, and he was part of the coaching staff there, but he'd also helped coach them into what Mazzulla wanted them to be, what Brad Stevens before him wanted them to be. And all Mazzulla did when he came in was like, right, the foundations are already here. I'm not going to change the foundations. I'm just going to add some upgrades to the windows, to the doors, metaphorically speaking. Now he's getting a team where it's like, right, I'm the one that gets to set the foundations now. The foundations are going to be in my image, which is why they're going to be fast. They're going to be physical. They're going to be gritty. And when you're doing that, maybe this version of the Celtics is going to be that way too. And maybe that's going to be what they start to pride themselves on, is that physicality and that grit. So when you do run a double big, maybe you don't want the versatility at the 5 because you want somebody that can bruise, that can battle on the boards, that can do with the glass. And you want that on the wing instead because you've got someone explosive like Jaylen Brown that's going to bully his way to the rim. You've got somebody like Chris Boucher or Sam Hauser that's going to give you that floor spacing to allow Brown to do that. Anthony Simon's the same way. He's going to be physical. Maybe just because every other team is leaning into a versatile 5-man in a double big lineup doesn't mean it's the only way to do it. Mazzulla's been an innovator since he took over. What I'm trying to get at in a roundabout way is, yes, all these other teams have elite bigs, and yes, that's the current blueprint if you want to be successful with a double big. But maybe there's a way where Nemi has a crazy year because of the spacing they can put around him at the 3 and the 4. That was a very long-winded way. I do apologize.
No, that was a good. I actually like that a lot. My only thing is, if this is supposed to be a team built around how Joe Mazzulla wants to play, I just can't imagine it's with these guys specifically. Like besides, the Derek Whites, the Jaylen Browns, even the Payton Pritchards, everybody else, these guys would not be ideal for any system, let alone something experimental. I honestly don't know if this is something that's going to be long-term when Tatum comes back, because we don't know what the roster is going to be like 12 months from now. Is this going to be like just a test to see if they can play this way? If they like playing this way, if it works. But like playoff basketball, you can't do this stuff like, scoring 140 points a night. Like that's just not going to fly when everything slows down.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that the only way to get around that is to lean into the spacing that you've got elsewhere, right? In terms of Payton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Derek White, there's floor spaces there that you can get around that, especially in half-court basketball in the postseason. But I do think, as you say, with the team that it currently is, this isn't going to be Mazzulla building the team that he wants. It's Mazzulla laying the in terms of the talent pool that's currently there, right? For me, it's Mazzulla building the foundations that when he gets the team he wants, everybody adjusts to the way the Celtics play. And I think that the foundations that were there on that championship team, Mazzulla helped build them, but they weren't fully Mazzulla's foundations, right? Like Brad Stevens had laid a bunch of them. Ime Udoka added his bricks. Then Mazzulla just added the last bricks on the Lego building. Now I think they're torn it back down to the studs. And it's like, right, we've got our key pillars in place. We've got the Jaylen, we've got the Jason, we've got the Derek White, the Payton Pritchard. But now we're rebuilding that wall. And that wall is like Mazzulla's style. He wants them to be fast, gritty, whatever. And if you build that now, regardless of who comes in and who leaves, they adjust to the way you're trying to do things, right? So that's what I mean by trying to build in Missoula's image. And I'm not saying that they're going to all of a sudden go away from being this crazy 3-point offense, but I am saying that maybe this is the first time we're really going to see what a Mazzulla developed team looks like. We've seen what a Mazzulla coach team looks like, but we haven't seen what a Mazzulla developed team looks like.
Yeah, I think we all just want to see a little bit of a faster paced offense where it doesn't take 6-7 seconds walking the ball up the court to get into our actions. So I do think that is probably something that will stick. I'm very curious about like this run and gun thing. Because I mean, honestly, has it ever worked for a championship team since the Showtime Lakers? Because the 90s, the run TMC Warriors flamed out in the playoffs. The 6 seconds or less Suns obviously flamed out, never won a championship. When does that work when you don't have like the
Halliburton or Steve Nash?
Right. No rings.
Yeah. I mean, let's be fair. I think that if Halliburton had stayed healthy, I think the Pacers come out of the East in an no, sorry. I think the Pacers win, is what I was about to say. Sorry.
I mean, they were at game 7. It was very close. Yeah. It definitely could have happened.
I think that Halliburton stays healthy, maybe this conversation sounds differently. And the NBA is a copycat league. So the Pacers have been not only good, they've been really freaking good, and they've been crazy entertaining. Right? And I think that one of the good things about the Pacers is all the argument, and your argument is completely fair because it's true. When have one of these run and gun teams won? But for all the arguments against that, if you look at the Pacers, their model is so sustainable because they're built around one like genuine star with a bunch of role players with no drop off when you rotate guys out. So instead of having like 2 or 3 dudes at the very top and then a massive gap, or like 1 or 2 in the middle, then a massive gap, then everybody else, the Pacers are like, yo, we've got that one guy, maybe that 2 if you want to include like Turner before he left or whatever. But then there's a drop, but then everybody else is bunched in. So when we rotate, we're constantly able to keep that same pressure, that same level of play. And that blueprint in the new modern NBA in terms of the CBA and the second apron and how restrictive that can be, that is a blueprint you want to follow, regardless of the play style. Like, take that out for the moment, but the actual blueprint of the way the Pacers have built that roster, and it's eventually going to bite them in the ass because people are going to want to get paid. But for now, the way it's been constructed is we're very much a one-star team with everybody else being superstars in their roles. And that's been Brad Stevens' idea for years. It's just that Rick Carlisle managed to get a roster built that way for him. You know what I mean? So I think that the run and gun is definitely going to be interesting. But the bigger part of that blueprint where everybody is interchangeable without seeing that drop-off, that's going to be the key to success.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think we're going to see the hockey subs. I thought that was like a funny joke at the beginning of training camp where he's going to sub 5 in, 5 out like they do in hockey. I don't think we're going to see that. Joe shot that down towards the end of camp. Like, that's just ridiculous. You don't do that in the NBA. But it would be nice to have 8, 9 guys that you can rotate in and out of a game, but I just don't see that with this roster.
No, not yet. Not yet. I think that the good thing about this roster is there's so many guys fighting for minutes. There's so much competition for places because everybody's got something to lose. If Luka Garza flames out here, he's flamed out on 2 teams. Does he get another chance or does he end up in Europe? If Josh Minott flames out, it's the same question. What happens for Anthony Simons? He's on a contract year. He's going to want to try and get paid what he's on now or more. If he struggles, it's going to be hard. Jaylen Brown needs to prove himself that he can lead the team. Jordan Walsh, if he flames out, maybe that's the end of his time in Boston. Xavier Tillman, if he doesn't do well, then maybe he's not back in the league in a year or 2. Nemi is going to get a really big opportunity. If that doesn't work out, what happens to him? Like, does he stay with the Celtics as a 2nd, 3rd, 4th string guy? Does he go elsewhere or does he head to Europe? There's so many guys on this roster that, like, it's not just a prove it year. It's not that they're just unproven. It's that their NBA future is kind of intertwined with how successful they are. And I know that's kind of hyperbolic, but it's also a situation that a lot of them is finding themselves in right now. A lot of these guys didn't pan out elsewhere, and now they're coming into a team where there's going to be opportunity. maybe for the next year, maybe for the next 2 years. Maybe they get flipped in the in season if their like trade value goes up. But I think that side of things brings out the best in people. And for that reason, I don't think the depth is there, but I think that we're going to see a lot of interchangeable rotations, and some guys that haven't played for a week maybe get a run because they're just crushing it behind the scenes because everybody's going to be hungry as fuck.
Well, that's the funny thing is like a lot of these guys are on the same level. Like, what's the difference between a Ugo, a Jordan Walsh, and a Baylor? Like, they're all at the same level right now. So one of them is going to rise to the top, maybe two. I mean, it'd be great if all three. It's just not realistic.
But at
But
least
it's
they're
gonna,
interchangeable.
yeah. Oh, they
You,
certainly are that.
you know what I mean? If you've made it this far and you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the Celtics Chronicle. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We'll be super active during the season, during the postseason. Head over to the CelticsChronicle.com and hit subscribe there too to get written analysis straight to your inbox. I do think that it's tough, right? Because once you take out the Jaylen Brown of it, the Derek White of it, the Peyton Pritchard, and Sam Hauser's been disrespected all summer, so I'm going to include Sam Hauser in there. If those guys weren't there and we were looking at the rest of this roster, you'd be like, yo, it's tank season. The only reason there's expectations is those four guys. And like, I get it, the NBA is a star-driven league, and four dudes can really change the makeup of an entire roster. But do you see a world where these dudes don't play for the second half of the season? Do you feel like that's a possibility?
I think it's certainly on the table because Jaylen Brown, I mean, he plays 60 games a season every other year. He's not like the picture of health. He can start having, start getting dinged up, start not playing back to backs. Derek White's a trooper. I'm not worried about him. The young guys competing for their spots or their money, like that's fine. But honestly, I mean, it could be pretty bleak by even Christmas where it's like, what are we even playing for? And that worries me.
I mean, I've got them down as a 41 win team.
That's the Vegas line. So you're right there. You're right on the
500 win, like a 0.500 team. I don't shut the guys down at 0.500. I think they're too competitive to want to lose half a season. I don't think it happens personally. I think that there's point of no return. If you're like midway through the second half of the season, so you get past the All-Star break, you probably get a few more weeks in, and then you're like, do you know what, dude? Like, we're right on the edge of the playing tournament. Do we really want to go through that, or do we want to take the summer to reassess, have a high draft pick, and go from there? Maybe package that draft pick with some guys and try and trade up into a star or a borderline star. Then maybe that's a conversation you have. But I do not expect guys to be getting shut down at Christmas. I do not expect anyone to be getting shut down before the All-Star game. Obviously, avoid it, like injuries allowing. I do think that there'll be a conversation later in the year if the team struggles. Now, this team might just surprise everyone. The good thing about gritty teams is putting an expectation on them is usually the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, I am actually kind of on the lower end of the optimism side that they're going to be able to figure this out and put it all together so fast. New system. I really am kind of worried about the backcourt. Like Pritchard and Derek White is basically cemented as the starting backcourt. We haven't heard one peep out of them saying Simons is going to start. So
I was working out with the starters yesterday. There was stuff online yesterday that he'd spent the day with the starting group.
And that's like the first time in the entire camp, right? Because like there's been nothing out of that. Everybody thought like, oh, these two are going to be competing for who starts. And it's like they just kind of gave it to Pritchard, but we'll see in these preseason games. I wouldn't be shocked if Simon starts at least one of them just so they can see what he got. But I mean, even Simons and White, I just think that's such a small backcourt. Like I'd much rather have Jaylen at the two and then either White or Pritchard or whoever playing point. And then you could put Sam at the three. I just think you have a better, well-rounded basketball team and you could defend better. But I do get the appeal of having White and Pritchard in the backcourt. Like that's offensive firepower.
Yeah, I get it. But defensively, like you said, I mean, defense is going to be a really tough sell for this team in general. Right? Like, Nemi will be good in terms of a rim deterrent and a rim protector, but if you drag him out of the paint, you're going to cook him. I think that his positioning is going to need to drastically improve throughout the year. Same with Luka Garza. I think Luka Garza is going to get smoked more defensively. If you look at the entire front court rotation, I'm quite bullish on Josh Minot as a defensive piece. Quite bullish there. I think him and Jordan Walsh are a roster battle to watch. I'm higher on Minot than I am Walsh. I've just never really been very high on Jordan Walsh. Super athletic, but I don't know. You know when you're just not sold on something.
Oh yeah, a lot of that going around.
Yeah, I think Baylor Scheinman could have a good year, but I'm not sure how good it's going to be defensively. I think he'll be one of the better rebounders on the team if given the opportunity.
And I'd want him doing more ball handling. Same with
Yeah.
Ugo. But the problem is with Simons, Pritchard, and White, when's he going to get any ball handling reps?
And this is why it's really tough to develop guys on one side of the spectrum, but also keep guys that are kind of like biding their time, waiting to be contending again on the other side of the spectrum. And that's where the tough part comes in. And it's going to be a balance Joe needs to find. But you cannot have a team like this and just force feed the veterans all the time without giving the developmental pieces opportunity to develop. Otherwise, it's a wasted year.
Absolutely. And that's why I do think we're going to see a trade at some point during the season, because it's just it makes no sense having those three guys and then having these other guys that would actually do really well with some ball handling reps and not given those opportunities. So, I mean, I don't want to trade Derek White, but if there's a Godfather offer, I don't want to trade Peyton Pritchard, but if that's what it takes to get somebody like Kessler, fine. And then Simons, just give me anything for Simons. Anything you can get net positive for an expiring contract, I think you take.
That's if they don't try and keep him around. I mean, there's been some mixed messaging coming out about Simons. I don't know if you read the piece from Bobby Manning yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that was all solid messaging. I thought everything there I came away feeling a little bit more confident about Simons. But he's been in defensive first situations before. Chauncey Billups is building a defensive first situation in Portland. He had good defenders around him last year. He was in a team that was built to be defensive minded, and he struggled. So,
I mean, he was on a team that was the best defensive team the second half of the season last year.
And he was bad.
And he was horrible. He did not fit in at all. They had to get rid of him the first chance they got.
And then you look at this team and it's like everyone's saying, oh, well, the situation is in now, the atmosphere, the environment, it's going to bring the best. He was in a similar, okay, he didn't have the level of star around him that's going to hold him accountable the way that Jaylen Brown will and the way that Derek White will. But he had a very defensive environment around him and it didn't work. So I'm not sold. I think it's going to be a really interesting year. I've kind of told myself that he'll be gone by February. I'm not getting too attached. If that happens, it happens. If not, then not, you know. But I think that if you're going to get any value for him on the trade market, it comes at the trade deadline.
Yeah. And as the days go on, the longer he's on the roster, the less value he has. So, I mean, he really needs to show out, but he's not going to be starting most likely. So I am really curious. So he's just going to come in and jack up shots. That's not going to do his value any good.
It depends, right? I mean, if he really proves himself as a flamethrower, there's going to be a team around the league that's contending that are like, do you know what? We could see that. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be someone out there that's like, oh, he's buying into a bench role and he's averaging 18 a night on efficient shooting and he is giving you 3 or 4 assists. And they've found a way to hide him defensively for limited stretches because he's defending second units rather than starting units. Maybe you can talk somebody into making a trade for that guy.
I mean, what's the ceiling or best case scenario here where he just evolves into like a CJ McConnell?
Which one? TJ McConnell or CJ McCollum? Which one would you say?
CJ, because I want more offense. Though I would love for him to be able to like be like TJ.
That'd be awesome. Like, because I heard CJ and then McConnell. I was like, McCollum or McConnell?
McCollum,
yeah, I mean, that's a good card. I think CJ McCollum's a bit more of a savvy passer, savvy creator, shot creator. I think Simons could get there. My point being is that maybe him being in the second unit helps paper over some of those defensive issues. If you match up his minutes so that he's rarely on the floor with the opposing starting guard, like maybe you can paper over some of those defensive limitations and unleash that offense that little bit more. That would probably be optimal if you're bringing him off. Obviously, that's difficult because it means you've got to understand the other team's rotations, their sub patterns. But maybe if you just try and, do it on the fly, it's never going to be perfect. He's always going to spend time against starting level guards. He's done that for years now. So it's not like we need to be unconfident, but maybe he'd hold up better against second units. or some multiple like team like rotations with more second unit guys than starters.
And there is a blueprint for that, and the Celtics have it. I mean, that's why we just have six man after six man of the year award winners, like the way we used Brogdon, the way we use Pritchard. I mean, there is a scenario where Simons could be a six man year of the year award winner. It's not the most likely scenario, but I mean, there is a path there if he's able to take it.
Do you know what question I've got? Do you think Celtics are in asset acquirement, might get young guys, unproven young guys, give them an opportunity, right? There's a team out there right now that needs to trade an unproven young guy.
Ooh, which
and
one?
It's Pacome Dadiet.
Really? Okay. That's an interesting.
But it's not necessarily Pacome. It's not necessarily Dadiet. Like if the Knicks are going to keep Brogdon and Shamet, they need to trade somebody. And that all the reports coming out is that it's Dadiet that's going to be the guy that gets traded, or he's at least the front runner to be traded right now. Would you, as a Celtics team, try and pick up Dadiet? And it's only going to cost you a pick, but obviously you're not going to want to fill in with the 15th roster spot, so you're probably going to need to cut somebody loose or reroute someone elsewhere. But if you're trying to build a bit more defense and you want someone with some size and you want someone that can be physical, would you try and take that flyer on Dadiet?
It's not the worst flyer. I actually haven't heard that floated out there, so
I'm just putting it out there.
That should be so credit. Yeah, that's an Adam Taylor special, man. Everybody take notes on that when it happens. Brad will be the one that listened to our show and got that idea. I actually kind of like that. That's spicy. I don't want to give up a first for it though. Like,
no, it'd be a second round pick. I think like that's the messaging I've read everywhere is like, if they get rid of him, it's like they're doing it to keep Brogdon and Shamet. They're not doing it to retrieve assets. It will be a second, or maybe like you give them a second, but then you still need to cut someone. Like you're not going to want to. You don't want to use your 15th roster spot on Pacome Dadiet. No disrespect to him at all. But you want to keep that open because if you are making a run and you are surprising people, juicing that team with a veteran at like the buyout deadline or whatever, towards the middle of the season, that makes sense. But if Dadiet is reportedly available, the Celtics are trying to develop young guys. I just think that he's got to be better than some of the dudes on this team, right?
Oh man, there's so many. I could go on every roster and look at the end of the roster and be like, man, they're better than some of these guys at the Celtics roster. Yeah. I am so not in on this roster. I'm 4 through 14. Yeah. No, I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I think it would be a talent upgrade. And it's a swing. Honestly, this season, the motto should be let's take some swings. Let's just see. Because if you take enough of them, you're gonna make contact on one of them. So 4, 5, 6 different swings. Let's do it.
That's my mindset. I think he's got size, he's got length. He looks like he could eventually evolve into a decent defender. I know Mike Brown said that like he's got upside as like a really darn good physical defender. He just strikes me as somebody that would slide into what the Celtics are trying to do: fast-paced, physical, length, size, multiple position versatility. Second round pick to pick somebody like that up, and all you need to do is cut free somebody. I mean, it's definitely. I've given it more thought than what I should have, is what I'm saying.
I like that. And I think teams are like just too precious with second round picks. I think you should use them a little more like Monopoly money or give them out like cotton candy. So like actually get a player that you could take a swing and maybe get something for. I would use a second round pick for.
Yeah, I think so too. And obviously this is going to be one of them cases where people are like, well, why don't they trade a player? Because that defeats the object, right? New York are trying to move on from Dadiet to create the roster spot and to keep them under the second apron. That's the core thing for New York. They don't want to, if they could sign Brogdon and Shamet, but I don't know if they're hard capped or they just don't want to be in the second apron, but then obviously just trade a young guy. Dadiet is probably the most likely. So yeah, I just wanted to float that out there because
I like that.
Anything else you want to touch on before we let everybody get up out of here?
Oh no, I just can't wait for this game because like I said, the result doesn't mean anything. But the process they go through and what happens during it is going to mean a lot. We're going to be able to have a lot of takeaways there.
We're going to play overreactions, right? Name the one guy that after tomorrow's game, everybody is overreacting to for positive reasons.
Oh, I'm feeling a Baylor game.
You're feeling a Baylor game? Okay, I'm
Yeah.
going with Josh Minor. I'm a big Baylor guy, but I've just got this feeling about Minor. I feel like that's one of the that's going to be a guy we look back on like Brad did it again.
And
Could be
like
wrong.
that's gonna be the kind of guy that probably will break out the first game because it's preseason. What do we think? We'll see the starters in maybe the first and third quarter. That's it.
Yeah, so Minor's got an opportunity to play because I don't see him as a starter.
Yep, same. And that's why I think Baylor, same logic.
Yeah. And who do you reckon's a guy people are overreacting to on the flip side? Like, dude, this guy's trash. We're so screwed with this guy in the rotation. Get rid of him now. Who's going to be that guy?
Oh man, people are gonna get mad at me if I say who just came to my mind.
I'm going to say
I,
it, Nimi.
oh wow, that's funny. I was going even worse. I was gonna go Jalen. I think Jalen's first game.
Wow.
Yeah, people are gonna get mad at me. I'm sorry, guys. I love you, number 7. I hope I'm
I think
wrong.
it's going to be ugly.
Just because it's the first time in that role, and I think it's gonna be like one of those like I'm gonna take 30 shots to score 30 kind of guys.
Yeah. And then I'm going to give up about 10 on the other end because I'm gassed because I've been pushing too much on the offensive end. I get it. All right. Everybody who's made it this far, congratulations. You have the attention span of a god. But it's not over just yet. Make sure you hit the comments. Give us your overreactions. Who you're overreacting to on the up. Who you're overreacting to on the down. Who's going to be the one that makes everyone be like, oh, we're good. We got so-and-so. Oh, no, we're not good, man. We got so-and-so. You know, let us know in the comments. If you have made it this far and you still haven't hit that subscribe button, then let's change that. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. Follow the Celtics Chronicle on YouTube. Follow me across all socials. Sign up to the Celtics Chronicle newsletter. It is what it is. It's all one big symbiotic thing. Billy, my man's over on Letterboxd. He'll be doing his thing as a movie review guy. Most importantly, hit that follow. Catch you on Wednesday. No, Thursday after the game. Deuces.
Peace.